Jabari's death is one that will cause a stir on campus and bring further heat to Stansfield, and one person that it could majorly impact is Professor Carrie Milgram. So I'm talking about the potential clue that you may have missed, Courtney Kemp's comments, and whether Professor Milgram could begin to work with the Tejadas. So welcome back to MovieBot. Let's talk about Power Book 2 Ghost, Professor Milgram. So I hope you're all doing great and welcome back to another storyline breakdown, this time talking all things Professor Milgram and what her role is going to be in season 2, because no doubt we are going to see her playing a bigger role in the coming season or even seasons to come. And this video was actually inspired by the Intense Networks, who commented on my video yesterday, who mentioned a deep theory into the Professor's role, and this video was something that I wanted to touch on because of a little clue that I found in the season finale, which I'm going to come to because I wanted to dig deeper into a character, and I also found a clue that ties in with his comments and with what I've found as well. But first, if you're new to the channel, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Universe related. But let's dive deep into Professor Milgram's story and just understand her background a little bit more, because it was mentioned in episode 4, The Prince, between a conversation between Tariq and Carrie while they were having dinner at Lauren's parents' house, that Carrie has past ties to Davis McLean. She warned Tariq about working with Davis, so let's just have a look at that scene from episode 4. I'm just going to play that for you now.
You know what? He's a really good lawyer. But a win for Davis doesn't always equal a win for his clients. I want you to be careful.
So Carrie said Davis McLean was a real good lawyer, but a win for Davis McLean doesn't always mean a win for his clients. So there's some history there between Davis McLean and Carrie Milgram, a foreshadow to tell us something that something may come in season 2 between Davis McLean and Carrie Milgram, especially as we move on in the season and watching Carrie get deeply involved with the Tejadas and Zeke in particular. And I'm going to come to the Tejadas and some of the Intense Networks points that he made in my video previously later on in the video. Now, for those of you who don't know who Carrie is, she's a former prosecutor, and Courtney Kemp was asked a question which was something like, will we ever see Carrie as a prosecutor in the future? It may not be the exact same words, but it was along the same lines, and she said that that's an interesting question, I like that question. But she stopped short of giving us any other information about Carrie other than us knowing that she's a former prosecutor. But both professors took a bit of heat at the beginning of the season with people saying what's the purpose of their roles on the show, but there was always going to be a bigger picture to look at. And with season 1 coming to a close and with Jabari being brutally killed by Tariq St. Patrick, who showed no mercy, where does that leave Professor Milgram, and how will she be affected by his death? Will it change her for the good, or will it actually push her and change her for the bad? And this is something that's already been foreshadowed. So I just want to pick a piece from the Intense Network's comments where he said, now we've seen shades of Carrie helping Zeke with a scene in the last episode with Everett. When she and Jabari was interviewing Everett, you could see that she was coaching him with what to say, with the look in her eyes, her body language, because she already knew what had happened and basically telling him not to say much. In this moment, this is where Carrie's past skills as a prosecutor really showed, as she manipulated the direction of the conversation and altered the course of the direction with Ev's conversation in a way which didn't raise suspicion with Jabari and kept Zeke safe and out of the spotlight. And this is because her relationship with Zeke is now deeper than just sex. I do think she's developed feelings for Zeke, and this is something that will influence her decisions going forward and the decisions that she makes. And I say decisions because it looks like she's already made one, which is possibly throwing Detective Santana off the scent of the Tejadas, because Jabari sent Carrie an email towards the end of the episode. But if you pause the scene, zoom into her emails, and this is the clue that I was talking to you guys about earlier on. One of the emails is from Detective Santana saying, Carrie, thanks for following up with me, I'll make sure to look. And this is where the email cut off. So Carrie's given the detective something to look at, but I do think it's something that could potentially just send him round in circles and most likely to be a dead end, because we've seen how she can manipulate situations with Ev, and I think she could have done the same with Detective Santana. Now, Monet's conversation that she had with Carrie where she warned her to keep her mouth shut, and especially with Jabari's death, this is the reason why I think we'll see Carrie change. And as we move into season 2, we're going to learn more about characters, and I do think they'll explore Carrie's character, and we'll see a lot of character development from Professor Milgram as she plays an integral role in season 2. So how could she potentially play an integral role in season 2? And how could she tie in deeper with the Tejadas? Another great point that was raised by the Intense Network's comments, where he linked it in with Ramirez's death, and the Tejadas now needing someone who's in with the law, as Monet no longer has Ramirez due to Kane's selfish actions. So could Carrie be this person for Monet, who could use her and Zeke's relationship as a potential way to blackmail her into working for the TARDIS. I previously spoke about how Tamika could be the Joe Proctor of Power Book 2 and the Joe Proctor for Tariq, but considering that she's always maintained a straight by the book attitude, maybe we were looking at the wrong person. Maybe that person could actually be Carrie instead. Will Carrie help the TARDIS? Her history with Davis MacLean is one that I do think we'll learn a bit more about in the season to come, and something that they've foreshadowed before, where they could meet again. And with Davis MacLean now working with Cooper Saxe, it's going to be interesting to see their partnership and how that develops, and they're going to need something to investigate. So what can they investigate now that Tasha's case is over? There's a death at Stansfield that still remains unsolved, but more interestingly, there's the death at Jabari. And as they dig deeper, no doubt Davis MacLean and Cooper Saxe's attention could potentially turn to the TARDIS, and this is the key factor that we really need to look at, because the key factor being Carrie Milgram working for the TARDIS and her really showing her dark side. Well, what I would like to see the dark side anyway. We've already seen that she's willing to do whatever's necessary to protect Zeke. When I touched on it, her manipulating the conversation with Ev, and no doubt she can manipulate the law and help the TARDIS in more ways than one. And I hope we see Carrie's character become really dark, because they can explore a lot with a character like Carrie, with Jabari's death, how that could impact her, how far she's really willing to go to help Zeke and the TARDIS. And for those who haven't watched Courtney Kemp's Q&A, which she's reposted on her Instagram by the way, so if you haven't watched it, then make sure you do. But she touches on how she wants to build these female characters up, how she wants to build these female characters up who have power, who are also vulnerable, and we've seen how she's done this with Tasha and Monet already, building their characters up but also showing their vulnerable side, with Tasha in prison, Monet's vulnerability when Kane went rogue, and how DC Joe almost got the upper hand over Monet. But one thing I'm glad that Monet did was she showed her dominance, she showed that she's not to be messed with, and she did this by killing her supplier Rico, who I hoped would play more of a role in season 2, but I'm glad they gave Monet a real badass moment. So let's just rewatch that badass scene from Monet.
Now we good, bitch.
So Monet showed that she's not to be messed with, but no doubt with no Ramirez, she's gonna need someone who's tied to the law. Ghost had Joe Proctor, so is Carrie going to be for the TARDIS what Joe Proctor was for Ghost? Drop all your thoughts and comments down below and let me know what your opinion is on Professor Milgram's role in Power Book 2 Ghost. Have I changed your mind on her role going forward? Will she play a bigger role than we first anticipated? And will we see her character change, develop, and potentially even show a little dark side? I certainly think we'll see her change, and Jabari's death and her feelings for Zeke could well have pulled her into the TARDIS family business. So let me know what your thoughts are on Carrie's potential new role. And again, thank you to the Intense Network who provided a great comment on my last video. But anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.